So, I know how you were saying like since for my um like how my introduction starts here
Okay.
and like all the other pages should also start on the same side.
Okay.
I was wondering like for my meet the authors, um, does that mean the same for them or can I have them like over on this side here? Or can I like start the conversation? I'm like start the about them over here in this area.
Good question. So uh, the goal is to have everything like you've been doing, new information start on a right-hand page. However, since we're doing spreads here, that means that the total number of pages in the book have to be a multiple of 4.
Right.
And if by putting all information, new information on a right-hand page, that means you end up with, let's say, 3 blank pages as a result,
Hmm.
that you have no other information to put there, then, that's distracting. So then the next best thing is, yes, you put, since it's short new information, um, you could have it on the left-hand side. The difference here is, I believe, that the about authors extends to more than one page. Is that true?
It might yeah.
Okay, so it might be that this isn't the one that extends to 2 pages. Sorry, let me say it again. Um, the information about the authors is not the one that begins on a left-hand page,
Hmm.
but perhaps um, 2 of the other things can be in, categories. 2 of the other categories of new information could, in fact, be on a facing pages. So an example would be the colophon opposite um, publishing information or something. That's not a great example because the colophon is typically at the end. Um, it could be a table of contents opposite the dedication page. That's a better example. Okay, so right now I don't know what all of your other information sections are.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
So tell me, what are those other sections, and maybe this is a possibility or maybe it's not, and we look for a different solution.
All right. For mines, I wasn't also another thing I wasn't really sure if I needed a table of context part since it's sort of a simple book
Yeah,
and
I would agree. I was just trying to think of an example. Uh,
right,
so in this case, a table of contents probably isn't needed, but
right.
you might have a dedication page, and what else might you have? Well, you tell me. What are the other things that you're thinking of?
Let's see. Sort of like a half title page. Um
Hmm.
title page? Yeah.
Okay.
The colophon and I think that was about it.
Okay. And so is the way I described it, is that the reason you were thinking of it going from left and right hand page, because you'd end up with 3 blank pages?
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So then the other possibility is that those blank pages don't end up at the end, but
Mhm.
perhaps one of them is um, at the front of the book, one of them is at the end of the book, and one of them is an illustration page.
Right, okay. So like an illustration could be on this page right here.
Yes.
And then like at the front of the book there's a blank page and at the end there's another blank page.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of, and we don't always know that until you get to this stage of the game, because you don't know how
Right.
many. Yeah. Yeah. And this is also why I'm sure you've noticed different books where at the end of the book, there's like 3 blank pages.
Right.
It's usually not more than that. It might be 3, 2, or 1. One blank page is usually kind of comes across as a classy thing, you
Right.
know. 2 seem odd, and 3 seem really odd,
Right.
and it seems like almost like a waste. You know, why'd they do this? Well, the
Hmm.
reason is totally because of this need for the total number of pages to be a multiple of 4. Whether that means 400 pages or whether that means 4 pages total. It's got to be a multiple of 4.
Hmm. Also, another question that I was just thinking about. Well, another option that I was thinking about. Since like if I put the information about the authors here, then can I like make this page over here like a title page? Like just have about the authors or like that.
Well, I think it sounded to me like this blank page idea, or at least one of them being an illustration page, is going to work for you. And if that's the case, then again, our goal is to try to have all new information begin on a right-hand page.
Okay, yeah. All right, just trying to like
Yes, yes.
filter everything out.
This is the right kind of question at this stage in the process. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep working. If I come up with any more questions, I'll let you know.
Okay, that's great, Gavin. Well, I recorded our little talk. So.
That's perfect.
All right.
I'm here too.
Oh, very good. Okay.
All right, scene.
Okay.
Hi. Bye. Hi. Bye.
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 All right. See you later, Professor.
Bye. Bye.
I just wanted to come in real quick because I know, so like, I feel like I know what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden I was doing it, and then I was like, oh God, what am I doing? So.
Also a normal comment at this stage in the process.
Well, so I had changed the, I guess here, let me turn on my camera here. So I feel like you're not just staring at my face.
Okay.
So I created the baseline grid or whatever, and then I was, changing around the text or the point size for both the Chief Seattle text and then the other one, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do this and try to put it in the baseline grid. But then I was moving around the I guess the point size so much, and then I was trying to get it to fit along the baseline. And then I was making so many changes to that because I was like, oh, that's not gonna work, and I was trying to like scoot it down to get it. So I guess where I was like, did I do the baseline grid right? And because then there was like certain things that weren't fitting on there, and I thought, well, maybe I just needed to change my after yesterday's conversation with, I don't remember, oh, I think it was with Jay, you said, well, maybe it's because of the and I do realize that like every single I guess typeface is going to be a different size, and since I was working with the heading of one of my things was in one typeface and the other one was in another typeface, I was like, well, maybe that's why it wasn't kind of following along the baseline the same way. I did do the subdivision, so I had that in there, but I still felt like, okay, did I still do it right? So I guess that's where I was.
Okay. Well, let me try to answer you first in a general way, kind of
out of my face.
Concept side, and then we'll look at your screen.
Okay.
But before we even do that, I can't let this go. I have to comment on the kitties in the window.
Oh yeah,
because where there's
two.
Well, it's interesting because because of the angle of your laptop and everything, it looked like there were these tiny little cats on your shoulder.
Oh. Yeah, they're right behind me because I've got the window open, and they do want to go outside, but they're indoor cats only. And
yeah.
So as soon as I have the window open, they're in here, and it's kind of their room that I took over. And so I put my drafting tables over there, and then they want to go sit on top of the stuff. So I had to move a little section because they were just like, oh, I don't care, I'm just gonna sit on this.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
You can't stop them from going where they want. They're just cats.
Yes, but they're all of them, and like our cats kind of could care less what I'm doing, but the dog is absolutely like that. So she's very tuned into the fact that this whole thing of me going and sitting in front of a computer someplace all day long is weird.
Yeah, I think that they're probably, I don't know, sometimes I'm not sure if they're sick of us or if they're just like, I don't know.
They're just
probably wondering, when are you going to go? When are you leaving the house?
Yes. Okay, so let me try and answer your question now.
Okay.
First of all, the grid is based on the leading, not necessarily the point size. But the point size, where it starts to perhaps be an issue, is that a smaller physical size typeface may look like, oh, all of a sudden there's not any space between the lines because that physical size, even though it's the same point size, is now taller. So it's crowding into the line above it. Or the opposite could happen. It's a smaller than normal point size. And so now it seems like it's so tiny. So basically, the rule of thumb that you want to use that's affected most by the point, the physical size, is the line length. So if the line length of your average falls between 40 and 60, you're good. But if the physical size now is allowing more letters on that line than 60 or fewer than 40, then you have to do some adjusting. If it's fewer than 40, if it's fewer than 40,
question.
Sorry?
That's part of my question too, because like some of the way I broke out some of the Chief Seattle text, it would be less than 40, the whole entire thing, the way I broke it out.
Yes. So if it's just one or possibly two lines, this is not an issue.
Okay.
It's all about a more substantial chunk of text, a paragraph.
Okay, because I was gonna say I don't want to like put it in like such a big chunk because I wanted that like one like phrase and what he said to stand alone.
Yeah. So like when you were talking about yesterday about maybe not needing a pull quote, and did you have to have a pull quote? Well, in the Seattle one, where you could quite possibly be breaking the text up, so there's only maybe one or two sentences per group, that's falling visually kind of in between a paragraph, the look of a paragraph, and the look of a pull quote. So again, it gets back to not so much what we call it, a paragraph, or call it a pull quote, or call it a title. It's really all about visually, how does this fit in the hierarchy and how does it read? So the 40 to 60 characters, the reason for that is to help the readability of a paragraph, because when it's shorter than that, a paragraph line length, it's choppy. And when it's longer than that, again, on a paragraph, it's very possible to lose your way. And I'm sure you've had the experience of reading a book, and it even could be on a subject that you really like, but you're reading it, and it's a long paragraph, but halfway down, you kind of lose your way and you have to reread a line or two. And many times the reason for that is that the line length of that, it's one of two reasons. Either the line length is too long or the leading is too tight. And so again, it's about how space affects it, but it's those two things. So now that's the concept part. That's the general answer here. So now specifically with what you're doing, first you need to know that again, well, we just went over that. You might have changed it so to a different typeface, the same point size, but now there are too many, even if it's only one or two lines per paragraph, it just seems like it's too long a line. So have you opened to tracking about 5 points already?
I'd have to look at it again because I changed, like, hold on, I'm opening it up right now because I changed stuff. It wasn't like a it was at like a 16 point, and then I was like, oh, well, it looks funny now. So then I changed it to 18. I'm like, no, that's not right. And then I kept changing things. So I'm trying to open it back up again because I got frustrated with it yesterday, and then I was like, you know what, I'm putting it away. I'm gonna go work on something else.
Well, you're trying to fine tune it at this stage.
Yeah, so let me
Yeah. So,
open it up.
okay, while it's opening, then I also want to say that if you're doing it through the paragraph style, then once you've put the, let's say the increase of 5 points on the tracking, that's going to stay, that setting is going to stay even if you change the typeface.
Okay. So let me look. Yeah, because I was changing it on the paragraph style.
Okay, good.
So let me look at it. Now I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I named it article other voices. I had to name it stuff so I knew what I was doing. Yeah, it drives me a little crazy here. Okay. So let me try to, can I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, hold on. So I don't have the tracking on there. So maybe that's, well, part of my issue is that I also changed it back to, I changed it to 18 after it was already 16, because then I was like, the other text was getting too, like you said, it was getting too close together. And I was like, wait, that doesn't look right. And I was like messing with it. So I was like, oh, I gotta stop messing with it and just call you.
So when you say you're changing it from 16 to 18, I assume you're talking about the leading.
Yes, sorry.
All right. Okay, good.
Yeah, no, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop messing with this because now I just goofed it all up. Okay, so on here, so right now I'm in the style for the paragraph style for the text that's the article, which I named article other voices so that I could keep track of it.
Good.
And so I had it in Adobe Jensen, I have it in regular, I had it in 12 point. This was originally at 16, and then I moved it yesterday to 18 when I was goofing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I didn't have the tracking. Should I put it back on 16?
No, I was going to say that generally speaking, because you have short chunks here, the larger leading or larger point size, but I think the larger amount of leading should be a good thing.
Okay.
The tracking, you can still do the tracking in
So
there.
5.
That's this combination of, yeah, just 5, just 5.
Oh, 5. Wait, where
It's in there.
I have to put it in there, huh?
There you go.
There we go.
So the effect of putting more tracking and increased leading is, of course, giving more space between the letters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's overall, it's going to lighten the effect. So, of the text on the page. It's going to give a lighter feel, a lighter touch that will translate as a softer voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but speaking of softer, so I know on the last call, just because it reminded me right now,
Yeah.
I had said I had changed the opacity, but I actually didn't change the opacity. I had changed the tint in the, that's correct, right?
The tint is okay. It's much better than the opacity. Yes.
Okay, because I changed it to like a gray and it said tint on, but I changed it just on the character color in that paragraph style for the Chief Seattle words.
Okay. Now I have to say, even after it is better than changing the opacity, but I still have to say that if you made it in a specific color that had that same look, I guess that would be the best. So
okay,
and
well,
now,
that's what I changed both though, because it said character. Well, we could go to it later, but it was character color and it said I changed the tint, I think.
I guess what I'm saying is we could pick out of the color picker, and I'm just going to use grays as an example. I could pick black and create a tint of it to 80%.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I could go to the color picker and pick a dark gray that essentially looks the same as an 80% black.
Okay.
And so
I did both though, I guess. When I went back to look at it, I had picked a gray, but I had also changed, I think, the tint on it.
Got it. Got it. So
Okay.
what you want to, and this is also an intuitive way to work. It's just, it's faster to find it that way. So what works? Okay. So once you found it, now you want to, ideally, you want to color match that tint to an actual hue.
Okay.
Okay. And the reason for that is all about, it's actually two things. It's one is that for a digital file, when it goes through what's called a RIP, it's raster image processing that happens at the production stage for printing. And this is not just for type, it's for everything, the whole file. Then depending upon the RIP, RIP is both an adjective and it's a noun. So we could say we're ripping the file. On the other hand, we could say it has been ripped. And we could also say it's at the RIP right now. Okay, if that makes any sense. So different RIPs will process the information that's being sent to it slightly different. It's not supposed to, but it's like, you know, different brands of things. They, even though it's supposed to be doing exactly the same thing from one brand to another, we all know that it doesn't. And so that happens here. And so sometimes if you've done, it can be quite noticeable on elements where the color has been created as a tint, or more likely if it's been created because of a change in opacity. So it's something to just be careful of. And then of course the thing that is that we do to try to prevent that when we're going to commercial printing is we get the PDF file from the printer. So for example, if we were going to Parks Printing to have these books printed, then we would get the PDF processor, the PDF file directly from Parks that has been calibrated for their RIP. And that's going to dramatically cut down on any of this happening, whether or not we've used opacity, hue, or tint. But I like to err on the side of let's eliminate as many possible places where we're going to be disappointed as we can. And one of them is with color, which is always, you know, up and down. We know that from printing just at school. So if we can cut down on that stuff being a guessing game, one of the places is this with tint, opacity, or hue, and making it a hue is more.
I'll make an adjustment to that part of it.
And then having said all that, you know, printing to our home printers or even at school, we may not notice any difference whatsoever, but on the other hand, we might, even on our printers that we have access to.
I'm a color person, so I do notice slight colors between things.
Yeah. Okay, I think we went off a little bit there.
Okay.
Let's come back to.
So we were on this.
Yeah.
Tracking here 5.
Yes. I know what the point was. So I said that by opening the tracking and opening the leading, that's lightening everything.
Yeah.
And you may end up deciding that, well, I do like the increased leading, but now that in combination with the increased tracking, it looks too loose. It looks too open, too light. So then, of course, you can go back, and it does. So the tracking, telling you tracking is a ballpark figure that by itself will usually help any typeface. But you may, in fine tuning it, decide that, oh, well, 5 is too much, but 3 is good. You know, or maybe 5 isn't enough. Maybe I need to go to 8. So you still have that. So 5 is just a starting point. that is normally better than the default of 0.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, let's see. So, and then my other one I had at, oh, wait. So I left it at 18. Was that okay?
I think it should be, yeah. The Jensen is again, we talked about this, your choices of typeface for their purpose here, I think, is quite good. And Jensen is, physically, the letters are smaller in size. So to really say what we need to do is go out here on a 2-column average line and see how many characters you're getting.
So I had, for some reason, this one, I don't know why it wasn't supposed to be 12. But so I would change this to then 5. Ah, oh shoot. I need it to be right there. How come it doesn't do that with this?
I honestly don't know. Usually it should click just one of those.
That's what I was trying to do. I was like, I guess there's no 5.
And the one on the, yeah, I don't know why that's not doing that for you.
Okay.
Not a big deal, but it's just kind of odd.
Oh, so this is where I had, so like I had this picked out, so I don't need to do this then. I could just leave it like that and that be gray.
Well,
I could pick a different gray.
You could pick a different gray, but again, if that 80% of this, you like the look of it, then what you want to do is make a box or something with that 80% of that, and then color pick or color match that with an actual hue. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna try to do over here later. I'll do that later though.
Okay.
Because like this one is too close to the black, I think.
Yeah.
So then that's why I was doing that, but I can go pick up, like, do a real, different color.
Okay. Now here's another little tip, since you mentioned that you're very aware of color subtlety, that a black that is a warm black, a very, very, very dark red, for example, is usually, no one notices that it's not black. It seems like it's black on the page, but in fact, a combination of that warm black on an off-white paper, like a BFK Reeves eggshell white kind of thing, is a real warm, nice kind of combination.
Okay, so like you said like a red or black?
Well, yeah. So if you opened up the color picker of red and went to almost the complete dark shade of it, but not quite. So the black, in fact, has red in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to paint my I had to paint my the gym rack behind it. There was not the rack itself, but the wood behind it, and I was trying to match it. And it's like this opaque, like not black. The barb, the rack itself is not black. It's like a gray, but like sparkly, but it's opaque, so it's not black. And so I had to add some blue and some white to my black paint and make my own color so that it would match.
Yeah, that's great.
But it worked because it was anyways. So yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, it's a good comparison.
Okay, so let me see. And then, okay, so then I guess the other thing besides all this is whether I did my baseline grid right.
Okay.
So let me see. So do I have anything else in here? Okay. So I have this at the same, oh wait, where'd it go?
It might just be, you have to zoom in one step or zoom out one step or something.
Wait, look it's gone. Wait, what? How come it went away?
Well, the grid visibility changes Whether you're zoomed in or out, unless you accidentally turned it off. I don't think you turned it off here. Just look under view and see if you accidentally hit a key command or something. And grids and guides. Yeah, it's just not showing yet. So just click show. So you accidentally hit the key command.
Oh, I don't know what I did. Hold on.
Okay, and now you may need to either zoom in one step or back out one step.
That looks really small.
That has the half line in there, which you said you made.
Yeah, I did. Oh, now see, because I guess when I zoom out, it looks even smaller.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's too small. Okay.
Now, I do have to say we've got one thing that should be adjusted.
My column margins.
Yeah, the gutter space in there. I think
Yeah.
the gutter space is just larger and not a multiple of your.
How do I do that? Because I know when I saw that yesterday, I was like, oh, I gotta fix that. But then I left it because I was getting frustrated, so I didn't.
It's usually an easy thing, so let's do that.
Okay.
Go to master pages.
Let me find my pages. I have too many things open over here.
I know. Well, you've got 2 monitors, don't you?
What?
I thought you had 2 computers.
No.
Oh.
So what I have is my laptop, and I have been using the iPad when I needed to do. But right now, so far, I'm on my laptop, and it hasn't done anything crazy. But I did do a lot of cleanup on it and deleted a bunch of stuff that was like old, like files and things, and then yeah. Anyway, so
Well,
that's what I did.
You might, maybe now is not the right time to do it, but maybe after it ends, you should play around with sharing the monitor on your pad with your computer. So that, and everybody that does layout on a consistent basis has 2 monitors because of this very.
I've used to work with 2 monitors before, and so there is another computer that has a big, large, but it's a PC, and I would have to get this other device to make it work with my laptop because I have a Mac.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I probably need another monitor just so I could do stuff because it is harder to do. I have the 15-inch, and it's harder to do stuff on here because it gets crowded.
Yes. Well, again, anybody that does layout has 2 monitors because it just gets way too crowded. It's annoying because you have to constantly be moving things out of the way just to do what you're doing. And,
yeah.
Yeah. So I get that. Anyway, yeah. All right. So we're on the master pages. So now go to margins and columns.
Go to margins and columns. Let me see. That is in what section?
From the menu up in the top, it's the 2nd or 3rd one over.
I never remember where these things are.
Yeah, go to the right. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I was like, I have to look for it sometimes. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so, oh, yeah, it's there. Sorry, under gutter. Right. Mm-hmm. So right now you've got it at 2 picas or 24 points, and your grid is based on 18 right now, correct? Mm-hmm. All right, so change the gutter to be 18 points.
Change the gutter in here to 18 points. So
yeah,
that's
1p6.
Okay, I was gonna say that's not. Let's see. I have to do math in my head.
Okay, and now okay that.
Okay. And since I'm in the master, then that will change everywhere.
It did, and so now it is on the grid. See how that happened?
Oh yeah. Okay, I see it now. Yeah, as soon as I changed all that and then I looked at it, I was like, oh gosh, I gotta go back and fix that.
Yeah. So that, and then scroll over a little bit so I can see the other column to make the right-hand column.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think it looks to me like you're okay there now. Yeah.
Okay.
And on, maybe the left-hand page, go to the left-hand page. Yeah, looks like we're okay.
Okay. I know when I moved the point size on some of these things, some of my stuff got messed up, so I have to go back and fix it because.
Mm-hmm.
And then so, um, if would it? I mean, would it still read okay? Like if I left it in that point size for the Chief Seattle words and just change the color?
Well, okay, so you've got justified text up there right now.
Do I? I don't even know anymore.
So look in your paragraph style.
For this one, I have.
Okay, and there you go.
And where would I find it under?
The
Under here.
justification, yeah. So you have fully justify right now.
I didn't even know I did.
Um,
I don't think I've even.
so click on that a minute and see if we can change that. No, where it says fully justify.
Right here?
Yeah, click on that and do align left. Okay, and now say okay.
I gotta move you. Hold
or
on.
you can move it out of the way, or you can just okay it.
Oh, I just had to move you out of the way. I was covered up. I see the grid over here of who's on the calls. I have to move it. It was in my way.
I was expecting it to
It didn't look like it changed, did it?
not on this one, but at any rate, when you have these short paragraphs, then you absolutely should try to get rid of hyphenated words. But
yeah, I got to get rid of that.
Even if it's not a hyphenated word, you have what, a 3-sentence little paragraph here. So to make the stay up on it.
I just was checking to see if that was all the part. No, I just wanted to make sure that that was all the part that was needing to be in that section.
You're getting the curiosity from your kitty cats. So that last sentence there has a hyphenated word. So if we were just worried about hyphenation in a longer paragraph, we'd probably return the PER to the next line. Since this is such a short paragraph, I'd argue that you should return the word that entire sentence to the next line. Okay, and the reason is because it's a short chunk and you're trying to make a point by this. My father said to me, we said this, he said this, he said this, you know, as opposed to when and so it makes those points, gives them a little more punch.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can look for that kind of thing throughout. Okay. So I think the hard part becomes, well, let's say that last sentence, it wasn't just the and PER on the line above it. It was the perfumed all on the line above, and flowers are our sisters are down below. Then now it's a choice between, okay, he told me that if I have them on the same lines, that'll give it more punch. Should I return both the entire words the perfumed down? And if I do that, then it makes an even bigger hole in the line above, right? At the end. Okay. So now we're caught between which is more distracting, the hole or the punch that's added to the last line because it's all on the same line. And in that case, and that's an artistic decision. So you kind of just have to read it and look at it. My inclination right now is that the hole on the second line would be too big. You know, if you know that situation was there and you return the entire 2 words to make the last sentence all on the same line. Right now, I don't think it's too big. the whole
Right here
event.
like this.
Yeah,
I don't think that's too bad. It seemed more distracting to have that hyphenation in there or having just the on a line alone.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the fine tuning stage. It's the art stage where you make the decisions based the helpers, the helping things that you have to try and help you make those decisions are the reading of the words. That's the main thing. So if you read it out loud one way and then make a change, and you're trying to decide whether to leave it on one line or move it down. So read it one way and then read it the other way and see which one is smoother. That's the biggest influence on which direction you should pick.
Okay. Okay. And then so then my other thing was that I still need to move this over, I guess, over the 3 columns. I hadn't done that yet either. Because I had moved these. They used to be on the 2. I don't know if you remember.
Yes. Well,
And
you can have, that's the beauty of the 3-column grid. You can either,
could I keep it like that?
you could.
I mean, assuming that it's lined up correctly. Right now it looks like it's not, but
Yeah, because we moved the gutter, right?
yeah.
Okay, so this is the way that you can use this 3-column grid. You can use it in a we could say maybe like a symbolic way, where
Yeah.
all Seattles are on the left hand.
That's what I was trying to do initially.
Yeah, so you could do it that way. On the other hand, you could say, no, I'm going to do it for rhythm reason. So the way I go through here and I bounce from like looking at the spread and looking at whether there's an image on one side or not, how the space is, how big the little paragraphs are or not. And so I make those decisions a little bit more, it's more of an open decision, spread to spread. I haven't said this yet, but I think that all composition decisions should be made by looking at the spread, not the individual page.
You mean looking at it like if we're looking
Right,
at this?
both the right and left-hand page, yes.
Yeah. Well, and I think you did mention that when we were talking about my overall the layout margins with the Fibonacci, and you said like you could also look at it in terms of like, does it still fit that if you're looking at the full page, so, or the spread, I mean.
Yeah. Well, here, you could do this, right? So we're looking at the whole spread now. Go ahead and turn the grids off. Actually, sorry, just click the presentation mode on the bottom. Yeah, do that. Okay, so now we're seeing it without the underlying structure grids. We're just seeing how we would see it on the page.
This is not lined up where it should be because it got moved earlier, but
yeah.
So you know,
yeah,
I realize it's not accurate right here.
Yeah, so beyond the accuracy part, which you're referring to right now, I am now talking about the rhythm part.
Yeah.
The basic balance, the use of space across this entire 2-page spread. And that can be an influence on whether you decide to make a paragraph go across all 3 columns, across 2 columns, whether it's the right 2 or the left 2, that kind of thing. And that's another way to approach this, as opposed to just holding to a hard and fast rule that all Seattle are on the left 2 columns, all other voices are on the right 2 columns. See what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh, did you say yes or no?
No, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah.
No, yes, I understand.
Okay.
That's like trying to teach somebody to drive and telling them right when they're left.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Did you have another thought here?
No. Yeah, I was just no, yeah. Yeah, no, I was just thinking about whether it was, you know, because I was trying to make sure that the 2 voices, you know, like were clearly, like there was a distinction between the 2. So I was just does it still feel that way, I guess?
I think you could possibly increase that difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it feels a little too similar still. So
Yeah.
The other thing I have to ask you real quick, so I'm gonna really scroll here fast through here because I have a problem, not a problem, I guess. So in keeping with whatever the like the can't even speak anymore, the typeface was with this. So I was putting in the Jensen as the main thing for this poem, but then I did the title with the same title as what the book has. However, because of the point size I use, I'm thinking maybe I could go smaller because it doesn't fit on here. And I didn't want to put it in additional columns or additional, like it felt weird to do, like at least I haven't seen any poems in books where they're on several pages, if that makes any sense.
There are.
There are.
But yeah, and I also understand because that's what mainly why you started it on the left-hand page rather than the right.
Well, that's why I did that, because I felt like at first the point size that I did have it in, it did all fit in there. When I changed, and then when I changed like the everything else, and I was like, oh, put in the baseline grid, and then I was like, oh, it's not the same size anymore because now there was increased leading. So then it seemed like to go like now, because like if you were to, you don't see it right now because we're in the preview, but if you'll see that there's additional text in there, it's still longer.
Yeah.
And so I didn't flow it over to additional pages because I thought, well, let me just ask how I handle that. Because initially I thought I didn't want to put it on, even though you said to start it, if it's a new thing, to start it on here, but then I put it over here because I wanted it to just be on one spread. But then now I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, this is a good question. You're looking at and asking the right questions again. So my suggestion is going to be started on the right-hand page. The left-hand side should be either blank or possibly an illustration.
Okay.
And then you're going to have the poem continue on the it's page 51. I can't really.
So I would put in 2 more pages, and I can do it in
Yes.
the other
Yeah.
2.
But the other part is, do you see where the text on the right-hand page goes up even with the?
Yes, that was my other thing is I did move it down, but then because I was playing around with how much of it actually would fit. So yeah, I did see, so like can you see my little?
Yes.
So if I move it down so that it goes to here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you will have, and you already have a little bit of text that overflows. Now you'll be giving more of it. And then those 2 pages of text will be opposite one another on the next spread. It's just going to begin on a right-hand page.
Yeah, because like right now, so like I still have this, but if I move this over, so I just would insert more pages in here.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
My master. I'm in my master, yeah. I'm like, I gotta make sure I'm in my master before I start messing these things up.
Well, hang on. Oh, yeah, you can do it here because then you can just say after. Yeah, sorry.
And I can, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I want to make sure I'm doing it right because this is what I've been doing.
Okay, very good. Now go back to where it starts. And so what you should do here is just scroll it all the way up on the right-hand page. Yeah.
Scroll this one up.
Scroll it up. Or actually, sorry, I'm sorry. Leave that when it is. Scroll the left-hand page.
What? Where'd my mouse is goofy. My mouse is doing something weird. Hold on.
Scroll this one up.
Scroll this one up.
Yes. And a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes more.
Okay, so now adjust the bottom of this one. Okay, and loaded up the icon.
I don't think it's on there right.
Yeah, we're okay though. But load up from.
I mean, I can fix it later too.
Yeah. Okay, there you go, and go. There you go. You got it. And yes, so it's going to be that kind of
Oh,
thing. And you can, again, like you said, fine tune this.
once I roll this out, though, it should probably be okay.
Yes. Okay. Now, let's say, though, that this is on here and you ended up with one line. It all fits on here except for one line.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Well, we don't want that, but we're certainly not going to put a single line of a poem on the back of this, on the next left-hand page. That's going to be ridiculous. So you would make the very end of the poem or the very first page, not the middle one, the very first page or the very last page of the poem, extend the text box a little bit beyond the
You mean down here?
yeah.
So like if it were like one right over here, then I would just extend this so that it would
Correct.
still be on the page. Okay.
Yes. So you could either do it there or you could do it on the opening page.
Okay.
One
But
or
that
the
didn't happen, fortunately.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't think it would because before it was like it wasn't that long, so I knew that it would probably be. I just didn't want like 3 like things all on this page. So
Right.
okay.
Right.
And then I wasn't sure because I was like I wanted it to be on one page, but then like I was like I don't know, but I could still put an illustration here, so it's fine.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like a small, very
Could be an
small.
illustration, it could be a dingbat symbol, or it could be blank.
Okay. I might, well, because I have watercolor, I was thinking of just doing a very small wash of like watercolor, but it's not going to be like a big like
Yeah, that
thing.
sounds nice to me. Yeah.
Okay. And let me see. Although I did get, it's not coming in time for this, but I have an order of what's it called? A gouache?
Gouache?
Gouache, that's what it's called. I was like, I always get it wrong. I always say things wrong. I have an order of that coming because I've never played with it. So
Oh, very good.
it'll be my summer crafts.
Well, gouache is an opaque watercolor.
Yeah, so I'm excited to work with that because I have a bunch of watercolor and I've been wanting to, anyways. But
Yeah, that's great. Love it.
I'm not gonna come in time for this though. So is it okay? I just have all these questions. Is it okay? So like this does this. Do you see what I mean?
I
Like
do. And I would,
demands.
based on what we were talking about a little bit earlier, what do you think?
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because it's like a poem, so I'm like, I don't know. Okay. Just
Well,
I can read it the same way though, visually.
Yeah. It's about readability, and unless the poet laid out the words in a particular way, which of course many do, and so treating poems typographically is another animal all in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the poet does want things to break lines to break in an unusual way, and so let's say on this situation here, it turned out this way. You would ask the poet,
Okay.
this is a situation that's happening. Is this the way you want? Or like they gave it to you that way, I guess is what I should say.
Yeah.
And if they gave it to you that way and it seemed weird to you, you should question it. And
Well, and I guess because the other thing is like, and I just copied and pasted this over, but like you notice how he has this into manhood.
mm-hmm.
That's capitalized, but that's how he had it on there.
I think you should change those things.
Okay, because I was like, it looks weird to me, but like I feel like that shouldn't be capitalized.
I think it's the next sentence.
Okay, because like this one right here, like it says another right here, and it's also capitalized.
Sorry. Now I'm reading it more closely. Nuclear age grew from swaddling clothes into manhood overnight. Chapter in man's. No,
It's weird, huh?
It is.
Because I can see why maybe he did the nuclear age.
Yes.
And like this, of course, has to be capitalized.
Yeah.
But I don't see why into would be capitalized. And then history, another chapter, like I mean, another chapter in man's conquest, like that's capitalized and man's is capitalized. I don't know that man's either. That I don't know. That happens again here, man's, and then man's again is capitalized. I was gonna undo those just because I didn't think it looked right.
I think he's capitalizing the man's to emphasize like mankind, humankind aspect. I
Okay.
think that's his reasoning, the reasoning there. But the into, I
And
don't,
another.
and another, those, they're part of a sentence, right? On the pages of history.
Yeah.
Well, here's one possibility. Let's do that. Go to where the another was again.
All of this stuff I could leave capitalized because it's the
Yes.
places of things, but
Yeah, that's not an issue. But where the another or in where we
right here, another.
Yeah, so return another to the next line. And now tab.
Tab.
Yeah. Okay, so it could be that way. So now it's reading like an you know, part of the same sentence, but it's typographically how you're treating it. It's giving us a reason for it to be a capital word there.
Okay.
You know, so that would be one suggestion.
Okay. And then I gotta ask you, I'm not really sure why, because I tried to look and see why, but do you have any idea why this is like pink right here? I don't know.
Yeah, that always drives me crazy too. And usually it's because, it's because that typeface, I think, is either not available. You create
Oh,
else, but I don't. Is that true here?
I downloaded it, so it should be. However, when I opened it up this last time, it said not available, and I just hit OK because I was like, it's available. I know that it is because I downloaded it, but maybe I should double check because sometimes if I'm not connected to, and I
That's
lose
not
connection
updating it.
to like the Creative Cloud, it might just think that it's not there.
Because for when you first started with it, it wasn't pink, and then now.
No, it wasn't, and now it is.
Yeah, I think that's the reason then.
Okay, so I'll just maybe I'll just make sure that it's like downloaded with the Creative Cloud.
Yes, and then since you're using it for display type, once it's there, change it to outlines.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I have to write this down before I forget.
Yeah, and LD Mashad, we should have a period after L and D.
Okay. Yeah, I just copied that over, and I did find info on him for like his little biography thing. So I was gonna look up what to put in there too.
Okay, and I guess again, since poets, you know, definitely march to their own drummer, that may be part of his brand that he doesn't use periods after his initials.
I'll check it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then because I was gonna add in the M dash in there too.
Okay.
Somewhere. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I guess it depends.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, I think that was it.
Oh, sorry. There's one more thing here.
Okay, yes.
And it may be just because you haven't gotten to this yet, but I want to point it out. So at the moment, there is the same amount of leading between in there as below, right? And so you want less leading between no, between the author's name and the title.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So what that's two.
That could possibly be okay. The pink is a little distracting.
I know it's distracting because I can't really tell. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I can't tell with the pink. I'll just fix that later and I'll see, but I'll make a note of it.
I think you're okay there, honestly.
Yeah, the pink was driving me nuts, and I was like, I don't know why it's doing that all of a sudden. The whole time you were talking, I'm going, why is this pink?
Yeah.
No, I was listening though.
Uh, well, that's the reason that we're talking about here is the most common, but I kind of don't believe it's the only reason. Um,
That is, I think, as far as I know, let me see, the only place that was, and hold on a minute, because it's not on here. And that's the same type.
but this is a bold version.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. So this is I know, hold on. This one is because I have two, I have the subhead bold,
Uh-huh.
and I had, so like this one is just the bold, and that other one is the bold subhead.
Okay, and then the bold subhead here in your,
It's in little parentheses, so maybe that's why.
yeah,
What does that mean?
it's not loaded. It's not downloaded.
Okay, so then I just need to download it then.
I think so.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
That was a lot.
Yeah, sorry.
No, no, that's fine. I saw that Gavin had rejoined there for a second. I don't know if he's still there or anyone.
It looks like he's still there, but he's just in the sunset somewhere.
He's
Yes.
still here.
He's on a different planet again today, I know.
Yeah.
It's a nicer planet.
Thank you.
So is that good for right now?
Yeah, that's good for me. I'm gonna continue to work.
Okay, okay.
I've been up for a while.
You have to unshare your screen though.
Oh, sorry.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I forgot.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem. So
Okay,
Gavin, you came back for something.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll share my screen.
Okay.
So first of all, since I'm already up here, I just realized that this text from my introduction was the same typeface as the text for the story,
Okay.
The Eagle Sister Sky. And I know you were saying that, if you like, if I did that, that would like be showing kind of like favoritism towards one of them, especially like if I had like the title and stuff like that. So I changed that.
Yeah.
Also, another question that I had was for my responses. Um, for my responses, since they are from various news articles and whatnot, do you think I should have like not headings or they're called headings, but like almost as if I was like citations, like letting it know that this is from this news place and this story, like over the text.
Like a credit, you mean?
Right.
Um, I guess my short answer is yes. We need to know, well, whose words are these?
Okay.
Now, but I don't think we credit each time that a new paragraph comes up. I think that's the reason that you are picking a particular typeface to be associated with this voice, a different typeface to be associated with the other voices kind of idea. And I have to say, first of all, that I know you were trying to, I understood, but it's not about necessarily saying favoritism or lack of favoritism to one voice or the other. It's more clarifying which words are from this voice, which words are from this voice, and which words are perhaps from yours as the editor. It's clarification more than anything.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that. As far as crediting or making it clear that these words treated this way are from Seattle and these words are somebody else's, you can do that with a little intro. You can write a little introduction if you want. Okay, and say that This book is a comparison of the values expressed by Chief Seattle, who was chief back in 1890 in the Pacific Northwest, and him talking about the environment and the earth, and also with some contemporary voices talking about how we are relating to the environment and the earth. And then you're writing that in this other type, this third typeface, in the way we're talking about it right now. And so then it becomes more clear. Now, on the other hand, you when you start the message from Seattle, you say message from Seattle. It's got a title. And I'm assuming that your other articles also have some kind of title, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so then you do that there. So I'm using, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the typefaces that you're using, but whatever typeface you're using for Seattle, at the very beginning, you're saying message from Seattle in that typeface. And then when you're doing the other voices, you're saying message from so-and-so in that typeface. So now oh, I get it. Okay, every time I see that typeface, those are the words from that person. And then the other suggestion there was that you can, if you feel like it needs even more clarification, a little introduction explaining that is also possible.
Because like for the responses, they are from different different articles and environmental news like that. But I'm not using like a whole bunch of different typefaces for each one.
No, you shouldn't. So it's the category of news sources here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I had that right, because
yeah, no, these are also good questions. It's the kind of question that's appropriate to ask at this stage in the game, because you're trying to fine tune it. And no, this is a good question.
Okay.
And again, there's not just one way of doing this. So I try to talk about it in this big picture conceptual idea, goal, what's the purpose of it, and then give you some examples of how you might treat it, and then you can decide to use that direction or something else, as long as you understand the concept. So the concept here is we're using different typefaces to visually indicate different voices.
Right.
So then the problem becomes, is it clear enough on its own to just put them in different typefaces? And I think your question is saying, I'm not sure it is. So then that's the problem. So how can I make it more clear? So one example of how to make it more clear is to write a little bit of an introduction to it. The other part, and maybe both, is that at the very beginning, you do say this is from contemporary news sources, and you say it using the typeface that's now going to continue throughout the book for the words that are coming from other news sources, and the same for Seattle.
Because I think I actually do that sort of in my intro, and also in my about author page. So it's like kind of spread out a little bit. So it's kind of like doubly emphasizing like who's saying what and like what's connected with what. So that's cool.
Yeah, good.
I was just concerned because I was like, these are different news articles and like different writers and everything. So I was just like wondering if I should like just put like their name and date and just like say this is what they said, and then like even though it's like all different, and just like in the introduction and in the about author, like just let it know that
I think that's a nice idea.
Okay.
So and that would be an example of you looking at it and deciding, I'm not sure if that's enough, because it's not from the same news article. I said in the introduction, and I said at the very beginning, something like these are excerpts from various contemporary news sources. But then when you get to a different one within the story itself, Could you also have essentially a byline in there? Yes, you could.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But it's all one typeface that belongs to the news source typeface.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Cool. Any other one you were thinking about?
Uh, no, I just need to do that now and make a few more edits and put some more stuff in.
Okay.
I'll try to send you a draft of what I come up with.
Okay. Okay. So next week, I mentioned this a little bit on our other class, and again, we're supposed to be done with classes, but we're not. So at least availability. So next week, I will be available at our normal class time on Tuesday morning. And so if you guys want to check in at then, even if it's just ask one question, that's fine. I'll be here. And then yeah, and then everything's just due on Thursday. I've been trying to figure out. I would really like us all to be back together on Thursday. I don't know. I got to think about that. I'll probably put it out in an announcement. It just seems so bizarre, you know, to end with it just kind of haphazardly. And it's hard to do a critique. I've tried different ones. I know you guys have done online critiques in other classes. I have mixed feelings about the I don't know, the efficiency of that, I guess, or the effectiveness of that. So I'm going to think about that particular thing a little bit for Thursday. But Tuesday for sure, I'm still going to be here. Okay, and yes, you can send me anything in between now and then. The screenshots seem to work the best. I believe you both have some that you sent to me that I haven't commented on yet. So I'm
For the other book, you mean?
Sorry?
For the other book, you mean?
Yeah, so I plan on doing that this morning.
I did, although I already changed some
okay.
one thing. I just took out the pull quotes I had taken out already. I sent you that, and then I was like, I don't like the way these look, but then I took them out.
From what we
I think
talked
the only
about.
other thing I sent you, like, I think 3 pictures.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I remember we were talking about pull quotes yesterday. So.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, I think I like you. Good questions here. That's
Okay,
great.
Thanks. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you later then.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna eat my breakfast burrito and.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.